Hello and welcome to my channel, I Win to Lose Gaming. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at what a peak potential free-to-play Albedo is able to accomplish. So the objective of this, series at this point, since this is now the second installment after write-ins, is to forecast to you all how strong can a free-to-play Albedo be with lots of investment? And that leads us to the tricky part. What is a reasonable free-to-play Albedo? After some deliberation, I believe that a reasonable max potential free-to-play Albedo will be at level 90 with a Refinement 5 Cinnabar Spindle and roughly 75% perfect Husk of Opulent Dreams 4-piece artifact set, and a crowned level 10 elemental skill. As usual, I use my damage maximizing algorithm which shuffles around substats and main stats until it finds the optimal distribution of stats, and this puts a damage maximized Albedo's blossom damage with no resonances at 19,729 average damage. In case you're curious as to what a maximized Albedo stats would look like, he would have 2,626 defense, 90.8% crit rate, and 178.4% crit damage, while he has 4 stacks up on the Husk artifact set. So now that we know what a damage maximized Albedo looks like, let's take a look at my Albedo. So far, I have spent 8,760 resin on farming the Husk domain, and since my Cinnabar Spindle is only at Refinement 3, and my elemental skill is only at level 9, this puts my Albedo's damage potential at a rather low 67%. However, while in the overworld, by consuming the delicious golden crab, this puts my Albedo at 74.67% damage potential. In case you're curious though, with my current artifacts, if my Albedo had a crowned elemental skill with a Refinement 5 Albedo Bar Spindle, then his damage potential would be at 74.63%. Anyway, let's move on to the rest of the characters in this video. First we have Zhongli, a critical support character alongside Albedo. Zhongli will be using various builds but is never focused on doing damage. Hu Tao will make an appearance later to see how much Albedo buffs her damage in comparison to other alternatives. And finally, Barbara will be used and she has the ocean-hued clam set equipped. Now let's finally get started with the first showcase in this video, which is Albedo only. Albedo without Geo-Resonance is doing up to 19,751 damage per crit on his blossoms against an enemy with less than 50% HP. Without any buffs at all, Albedo's damage is barely not able to take out the Cryo Regisvine, and with some more crit fishing, he probably could have taken it out. But this is pretty impressive considering this is Albedo with no Geo-Resonance. Next, let's use Albedo with Geo-Resonance and Zhongli's shield. Albedo's crit blossoms skyrocketed to 26,924 damage, a whopping 36% increase just from having Geo-Resonance and Zhongli's shield. With this nice boost to his blossom damage, Albedo was easily able to one-cycle the Cryo Regisvine. But wait, we can't talk about a peak free-to-play potential Albedo without taking into account Goro as well. And fortunately, we're able to use Goro in this hangout dating simulator event thing. After using Goro's burst, Albedo is able to do 35,000 damage with his blossoms, another massive increase to his blossom damage. Although Goro hasn't been fully released yet, this is roughly what you can expect from having a few constellations on Goro on Albedo's team as well. Let's next talk about Albedo's buffing capabilities at the free-to-play level. In my opinion, his most viable team to buff is a Hu Tao Xingqiu team while paired with Zhongli. Albedo is using the Instructor's 4-piece set, and Zhongli is using the Tenacity of the Millilith. We will compare this to a Noblesse Amber with Sucrose. As we can see, the double Geo core ended up with Hu Tao doing 11% less damage. Now everything changes quite a bit depending on if you have the Freedom Sworn or Elegy or if you replace Sucrose with Kazuha, but generally speaking, the double Geo support core provides less damage but more survivability. Meanwhile, a Pyro Anemo support duo will provide more damage and grouping as well. And the last crucial role of a free-to-play Albedo is his ability to hard carry quote-unquote terrible characters. When paired with a Geo Shielder like Zhongli, or to a lesser extent, Noelle, Albedo can make horrible builds viable. Here we can see that it's effortless for Barbara to do her negligible amounts of basic attack damage with intermittent bubble explosions, all while Albedo's blossoms are providing constant off-field damage. With his terrible team, Masanori was still easily disposed of. The next question is this build actually viable in more difficult content than just overworld shenanigans? Let's rock on in Abyss 12. Admittingly, the current blessing of the Abyssal Moon really benefits this current Bubble Burst playstyle, and with Albedo supporting Barbara and the Abyssal Moon, my 67% damage potential Albedo is doing tons of passive damage to the enemies. Again, this is by no means a good team. In fact, it is rather terrible, but this does illustrate that Albedo is amazing for bolstering less viable characters and builds. A stronger 2-character DPS core like Hu Tao and Xingqiu, or even a geo-focused team with Goro and Ito, or Noelle, will be far more powerful than this current setup. However, admittingly, the stronger the rest of your team becomes, the weaker this Albedo build becomes. With low team DPS output like this Barbara team, Albedo's steady damage output is very noticeable, but once you start having far more explosive amounts of damage, Albedo's 20,000 or even let's say 40,000 blossoms will be difficult to notice. Now this is certainly not to take away from Albedo's feats or viability, because in my opinion, Albedo is an incredibly stalwart character, supporting the weak and downtrodden in this game with his powerful and consistent off-field damage. Albedo is my go-to character to support characters like main DPS Chi-Chi, or in this case a clammy Barbara build, combined with Zhongli, and you can make literally any character work, as seen in this example. And a few more comments before I let the rest of this Abyss run play out. Spoilers, this Albedo Barbara team was able to easily 9-star the current Abyss 12 with times in each chamber under the recommended 90 seconds. All in all, Albedo is an incredible free-to-play, friendly character with some of the longest lasting and reliable off-field damage in the game. Let me know what you think about a peak free-to-play potential Albedo in the comments below. Also, I regularly make Genshin Impact videos ranging from Caesar showcases, DPS showdowns, guide videos, and more. So be sure to smash the subscribe button, as it's the best and easiest way for you to support my work. Also, don't forget to like the video and leave a comment for the YouTube algorithm. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. This is I Want to Lose, signing out.
Yo, 元気出してよ。